So, I wanted us to have a big box PC game collectors Halloween gathering. But no, they said. Summoning the Great Old Ones isn't an appropriate party game, they said. You'll get blood on the carpet, they said. Well, I'll show them.
Welcome to Halloween with the Big Box PC Game Collectors.
At this very special time of year, I'm always on the hunt for games that capture the true spirit of Halloween. Friends, family, fun, multiple murders as a result of evil spirit infestation. And to me, nothing says Halloween quite like Elvira. As you can see, the box art is pretty snazzy in a Rodney Matthews meets cut and pasted press photos kind of way, and there's even an Elvira poster in case you're in need of additional art assets. The intro sequence tells you literally nothing about the plot, but that's okay because the manual explains it all. Good grief. Elvira, the buxom beauty of the night, lives in a typical American 1900 wooden colonial house, all decked out in the most tasteful decor you could imagine. The walls are a nice shade of black, the ceilings drip with silky cobwebs, and the occupants are strange, to say the least. This sounds like my room when I was 17. The choice of music is also weird, even by heavy metal standards. See? Not that Elvira has the opportunity or the need to impress anybody. It's just as well the lady has large assets. We mean her house, of course, and other valuable belongings, if you get the drift. I already did that joke. Elvira always had a burning ambition to go back in time and check out her ancestors. One evening, after a few drinks, she fell asleep. Blah, blah. In the study, the old man told Elvira that he was the ancestor she'd been thinking of in her dreams, and that he wanted her to have what was rightfully hers. Firstly, though, I want to introduce myself. My name is King Gustav of Transylvania. Who wrote this? All right, okay. Long story short, kill monsters, win castle, become Queen of Transylvania. Got it. If anyone's keeping track, this is a nice example of a female protagonist in a 90s game, and unlike the Horrorsoft Elvira's, Elvira really is the star of the show here, which is kind of awesome. So I'd like to like this. I have hopes, dreams, aspirations. Look, can we have a word about this? This couldn't be more of a generic Amiga side-scroller if it tried. I mean, yes, we've got an Elvira sprite here, flicking daggers all over the place and jumping in an entertainingly ludicrous manner, but really there's nothing to set this apart from any other multi-directional scrolling action platformer. These levels, these monsters, this whole beat the two worlds to face the final level malarkey could literally have had any character in it. Knowing the way software houses worked in the UK at this point, it quite possibly did start life with a different character.
Nothing about this says Elvira to me. Well, okay. Maybe two things. That said, this could be one of the first titles to include jiggle physics. Look at this animation when she turns around. There's more frames in there than there are in her walk animation. Someone obviously put a lot of love and care into that cleavage, but as much as it pains me to say it, cleavage alone does not a good Elvira game make.
Okay, bit of history. Flair Software was a Newcastle-based software house that released a slew of titles in the early 90s in a very short period of time, including a couple of launch titles for the Amiga CD32, and a rather successful isometric platform puzzler called Whiz, released by Konami on various console platforms as well as home computers. Flair is also responsible for the frankly impressive achievement of converting and publishing the better-known Accolade Elvira titles developed by Horrorsoft to run on the C64. Flair's Phil Nixon also wrote the music for the Horrorsoft Elviras. Flair was both a publisher and a developer, but Elvira the arcade game seems to have been developed entirely in-house. It wasn't their only licensed title either. They also developed the Trolls platformer. Yeah, those things with the brightly coloured hair. Interestingly, I remember the Trolls game as being pretty decent. Flair later became Microvalue and still theoretically exists, although their website has been under construction for an awfully long time now. However, their Virtual Playground subsidiary released tons of Insert Business Here tycoon and Teenage Vampire Angst simulator games somewhere around 2009 before dropping off the map again. And on the subject of vampiric angst,
The levels are big and sprawling, and they're pretty to look at, although the first two are really more like alien worlds than ancient Transylvania. But no one plays platform games. Well, they didn't in 1991. There's a lot of meat to the worlds, with puzzles, clues, and unique spell scrolls to use in the right place or at the right time. But making a reasonably fun platform game isn't the same as making a good use of a license. Honestly, the game has grown on me while I've been capturing footage for this video. Okay, an ice world, a fire world, and a haunted castle are as generic as it comes, but at least they're nicely designed, and the falling snow on the ice level is really quite impressive at the time. The game's hard, really hard in places, but there are plenty of lives, and none of the jumps, challenges, puzzles, or enemies you'll face feel like they've been put there for the sole purpose of being cruel to the player. Well, except the bloody dragon that takes half your life away with a single breath.
Elvira's face is kind of Uncanny Valley, but her Uncanny Valley is a beautifully rendered piece of pixel art. So we've got that. But this isn't an Elvira game. It doesn't feel like an Elvira game. It's not funny. It's or camp, all over the top. Even though this was a Europe-only and UK-centric release, even bearing in mind that no one in the UK had any idea who Elvira was until the Mistress of the Dark movie was released to fairly minimal impact, followed by the probably better known to gamers Horrorsoft titles, I really think the license deserved a bit more than it got here, especially as it's Elvira's only star turn of her own. Elvira the arcade game just doesn't have the sense of fun and joyous stupidity of either the Horrorsoft titles or the Mistress of the Dark screen presence. All we get out of her mouth is that odd "ah" noise she makes when she gets hit. No quips, no wisecrack, not a single boob joke, except the one in the manual which gets used twice and is rubbish. And while the game itself is sort of fun in an artificially difficult to make up for lack of levels kind of way,
Ultimately, it's pretty obvious why Elvira's arcade game is the least known of her forays into computer entertainment, and that's a shame.